Music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, venting and yelling, and I'm upset about something, so I'm going to talk about it. And the caffeine isn't really helping me, but if you want, buy me a coffee. Hey, if you're a Brian Howe fan, right, and you like the fact that I'm defending Brian Howe, buy me a coffee or go out and buy some Brian Howe music would be even better. Solo music, Bad Company with Brian Howe. Go out and buy like multiple copies of Holy Water, all right, or Dangerous Age, or even Fame and Fortune, that forgetful first album that the critics panned because it kind of sounded like Foreigner. And don't forget Here Comes Trouble, which is a complete waste of time. I'm so tired of rock critics, man. That's just, oh man. Yeah, doing what I do in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. So Simon Kirke went on a podcast. I'm not even going to mention who the podcast like what the host said or anything or what the name of it is. It just he went on a podcast, all right? And he's talking and he's saying, in hindsight, his fit wasn't right, meaning Brian Howe didn't fit the band. But he talked about how I was doing a lot of drugs. This is Simon Kirke. I was doing a lot of drugs and drinking, and I wanted to tour. And this is after Paul Rodgers walked out, just left. Okay, see you guys. And I heard they were having fist fights at the time. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard it was pretty bad. And of course, Paul Rodgers went off to hang out with Jimmy Page, which is fine. The Firm is really good, by the way. It's a good band. I think they lasted for 2 albums? 2 albums, and I'm sure at that point Brian's like, wonder if I can, or not Brian, but Paul, wonder if I get back into Bad Company at that stage. But Brian Howe had taken the thing over, and he turned this into an arena rock juggernaut, and we didn't want to do arena rock. In this case, he called it heavy metal. We went from a blues band to a heavy metal band. All right. I don't know if that's necessarily true because you could do an A-B comparison. I mean, songs like Shooting Star and Feel Like Making Love and um, I don't know. You go back through the Burning Sky. Is it blues? But it's kind of hard rocking blues. Um, if I Needed Somebody, is that a heavy metal song by Brian Howe's Bad Company? I don't think so. Holy Water. I mean that those big guitar riffs. I mean, this was kind of a Bad Company thing throughout even the early years to the Brian Howe years. The big guitar riff was a thing. The production was completely different. They hired this guy Terry Thomas to do production, and he was in this group called Charlie. And maybe that influence ruined everything, but I think this is my take from the other side. I think these guys resented Brian Howe because he was doing a lot of the work. And what I understand is, hey, he was like, hey guys, got any songs? Got any ideas? No? Okay, so me and Terry are going to do everything over here. Mick might put a song together. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't do anything, but I think Simon Kirke had a song on, I want to say Holy Water, that didn't fit the album at all. It just, and I think he sings it too. It didn't make sense. It's not a bad song, but it's just, you could tell like, okay, we'll put this song on here, even though it really doesn't fit the rest of it. Kirke noted that Howe was eager to work and wanted to work. Those seem like good traits. And again, he says the whole direction of the band skewed away from the blues. Yes, you've told this story a number of times. Can I interject again and say, okay, so Brian's dead. He's been dead for 5 years. You guys were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How about this? The guy, whoever this is, asks you a question about this time, and you go, you know what? Brian passed away. He's a great singer. He and I didn't agree on some things. I've said things over time that I regret. Maybe Brian did too when he was alive. but it's not time to throw the dead guy under the bus. It's just not. That's the way I handle it. Not it was a period that I do regret. And I'll put my hand up and say me and Mick kind of made a knee-jerk decision and we took this guy on board. The record label, you can blame them. You didn't change the name. You can blame the record label because the record label, and the record label was right. Keep the name, keep the brand, and put Brian out there and do a new version of your old selves. Van Halen did it. Well, they didn't completely change their sound like Bad Company did. Okay, but they did it. And a lot of people are like, even today, this argument about Sam and Dave, it's all the time. I like the Bad Company that Brian Howe was a part of a lot. Kirk went on even further here, recalling a quote from B.B. King, who once said, "You have to like someone to live with them." In this case, the drummer noted that Howe's personality clashed with the rest of Bad Company. Okay. So, again, and it had to do a little bit with politics. See, Brian, I don't know if Brian was a Ted Nugent acolyte at the time when he was in Bad Company. I know that Ted did influence some of Brian's thinking, though, over time, and that may be the reason for the rift, folks. People don't want me to talk about politics, but yet, look, here's something about Brian Howe. He loved animals, okay? I think he loved dogs especially. So anyone who loves dogs is going to be a friend of mine, okay, and a good guy. I don't know if these guys like dogs. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But why you bring this in? Because they're making him, he's dead, and they're making him out to be a malcontent. He didn't get along with us. It got worse as time went on. You know why? Because he was doing all the work. All right. He was coming up with these songs. By the way, here's an interesting factoid. All right. So this album, Here Comes Trouble, the one at the very end that the critics are all like, forgettable, completely a waste of your time. Don't listen to it. The song, How About That, which has this amazing opening part, which hooks you right in, went to number one on mainstream rock and stayed there for 6 weeks. And I'm thinking it was 1992. What was happening in 92? Oh yeah, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all that great music that came along, which displaced all of this Brian Howe sounding music. But the song managed to spend 6 weeks at number one. And the rock critic people are like, how could that happen? People listen and they like it, and they would say, hey, WDAV, hey, I really like that song. What was that? It was the new Bad Company. How about that? Play that again. Play it like 5 times today. I love that song. Is the album out? Yep, it's out. You got to get yourself a copy. Here Comes Trouble. Great album cover, by the way, too, on top of it. Oh, dear. You know what? Again, if he had just taken the approach and said, you know what, it doesn't make sense at this stage to continue to kick this guy when he's down. He got no mention, obviously, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For him to go and do a podcast, where are those Lone Rider albums? I got to get rid of those albums. I'm sorry. Simon Kirke, man, I'm done. I'm done with you. All right. You may be a great drummer. You're a legend. You're a great rock drummer, but you're not a nice human being for doing this. And Paul Rodgers, the guy Brian Howe passes away, and Paul Rodgers is like, I'm okay, don't worry. I'm fine. Okay, but Brian isn't, he's dead. No, I'm good. All right, you've already said that. I remember when that went down, and I was pissed. And for a lot of us, by the way, we really liked the Bad Company, the tarnished era Bad Company. We really liked that music. And Brian, by the way, did justice to all the old songs. Go listen to the live album they did after the fact there. I think they probably owed the record label another album and put it out, and Brian kills it. All right. And if you were fortunate enough to see Brian perform, you know that he did all the old Bad Company music justice. Very different singer than Paul Rogers, but even before he died, he could still hit all those high notes. And I've played stuff for other people, and they're like, yep, he was still on, didn't lose a step, sounded amazing even toward the end. So, anyway, I just needed to get that off my chest. Thanks for watching. Before I go, I am going to showcase this again. This is the brand new album by Pearls and Flames. Spread your wings, and maybe I need to switch to decaf. I mean, there are moments where I go, maybe I've had too much coffee, right? But I don't think Simon Kirke is a good guy. I just not after this. I'm just nah.